current status quo. With the changing political landscape and the new spearhead that we have within our opposition that we need to focus on, which is who is spearheading our opposition, what it means to the opposition when it comes to dealing with policies and how it's represented within status quo. So three things I will answer in this debate. Firstly, why would it be regressive for Mahathir to spearhead the opposition as in terms of young progression? Secondly, why would it be harder for us to bank in on the largest amount of voters as possible for the opposition? And finally, what if he wins and why is that still bad for our government? But before that, a few things I want to clarify. What do you want in this debate? What we want is to make sure that Mahathir doesn't dominate our opposition, which means that we don't want him as our main spokesperson or the person that people mainly focus on when we talk about opposition. We prefer if people focus on actual politicians within the party as compared to focusing on Mahathir's ideas and views within opposition itself. What are the standards to win this debate? Sure, the standards, one of the important standards is who can win more votes for the opposition, but it's not limited to just that. But as well as how will opposition be represented to individuals and the principles that opposition will stand for when it comes to fighting the fight against government. First thing I'm going to answer this debate: why would Mahathir be regressive towards the progression the opposition is fighting for in status quo? So who is opposition currently? Sure, we have parties such as PKR and DAP. The problem with that is that currently opposition is split into two parts, which is firstly, the one that currently failed because they are unable to change and adapt to current political landscape. But currently we are highly dependent on one strong opposition party, which is Bersatu. They are highly focused on advocating or collecting votes from individual like Bumi Putra individuals or like native and indigenous groups within the country. Because these groups of individuals are the individuals that provide the largest amount of popular vote for these individuals. So what the opposition currently needs now is the ability to collect comprehensive support from individuals as well as being able to get correct components from past opposition efforts in terms of dealing with government. What is the problem with Mahathir changing this? Because in status quo, people often remember how much they suffered within this era. So Mahathir did one very important thing within this era, which is that he thrived on racial divisions throughout his time as Prime Minister. So that means all of the policies he gave, he used all of the methods to ensure they keep staying in power. He impeached certain court judges, which threatened his ability to make certain decisions in government. So all of these things means he thrived on making sure people suffer. Sure, maybe he had good economic policies, but we often forget, or people are often caught on to how much they suffered within that era because of his ability to play on that suffering to achieve his power. The problem with that is that, people don't forget that as much. So sure, in status quo, Mahathir may be changing, maybe or advocating to set Anwar free, but yet we always remember how much he wanted to put Anwar in jail during this time in government. Don't forget what happened in the past. And the problem with them being caught on with the things that happened in this era is that this image is changing the opposition. So if he continues to stay as the largest image of the opposition, people don't forget that maybe what Mahathir did in the past, maybe this is what's going to happen to us in the future if we continue to vote for the opposition. Because you're the main image that opposition is putting out towards individuals. Have a seat after this issue. So the problem, it becomes even worse when we realize how overwhelming Mahathir is in terms of the image of opposition. He keeps appearing on news media, saying his views, and showing people what he thinks, and making speeches openly to public. With this overwhelming image and presence of Mahathir continues to dominate opposition, we don't think the thing that his era will bring to opposition will go away. What does this mean? That means opposition is more likely to lose voters who remember how much they suffered during Mahathir's era. When their parents keep telling them that I couldn't be able to access certain based on my race or my blood or my skin color or whatever. So all of these things means it's harder for individuals to forget what Mahathir has did in the past. The problem with that is that it continues on with the current opposition. Sure.
Acknowledging that the opposition is not one, but split into many parties, how do you get the opposition to unite and get a collective vote for multi-racial individuals in Malaysia?
So at this point, it's not really important to unify all of the opposition parties because currently we have to focus on the one that's strongest and most. Because Pakatan Rakyat and DAP, they have failed in the last general election because they are unable to adapt to current political landscape. We can't afford to keep relying on that on their components as support for our structure. Second argument, why will the opposition lose on the largest voting bank? The method of which Mahathir uses to appeal to the largest voting bank, which is individuals like native indigenous people, is by being very, very UMNO, which means that he supports UMNO type policies, which probably will advocate for some native people actually like. The problem with that is that he can't be more UMNO or be as much as the party as possible than being that party itself. So he can't compete as providing in comparative to the individuals who specialize in that. So people like so UMNO and native provides which these individuals like. He can't compete with a party that does that and counts on that as a method to win that election. So the problem with that is that we need to adapt to the current new political landscape. Him trying to use his old tactics within like as being an UMNO politician won't work in terms of being the opposition now, because we can't be the like we can't exactly be like the opposition. But people don't, because Mahathir was supporting his ideas. What does this mean? It's harmful because that means you're more likely to be beholden to the ideas and the things which Mahathir says. The problem with that is that you're more likely to go back to Mahathir era, to be caught up with his policies in which people will continue to fear what it's like to live in an era which Mahathir gains a lot of power and control. If you only vote because of Mahathir, not because of what opposition mainly believes in, we don't think that that's a better government in the first place. What does this mean? Mahathir shouldn't be the main figurehead of our opposition party. Now, we can't afford to depend on him entirely to win the next general election or to win any more forms of power. Because if it's so, it means that our opposition isn't looking good.
Thank you. First speaker of the opposition, please.
Speaker, we think that we need to take a strategic way in order to change the political landscape. That is currently change in terms of the position of the for all people, or even they only pinpoint or cherry pick certain people that they want to have the room. And we think that this is unfair. That's why we think that it's important for Malaysian opposition to bring into the picture, because we believe that he has the qualifications, right? Because we think that he will provide for the impetus for change for people, especially the Malay conservatives who have been supporting BN and put BN in power for so long, in order for them to want to change and see the relevance of Malaysian opposition parties to begin with. At least on our side, we bridged the gap. So we think that when we say that there have been problems caused by Mahathir, for example, in his era, he thrived on racial divisions and meddling with the court's power, we think at some points he also has contributed towards his community for some in some area. For example, he also proposed the withdrawal of royal immunity in 1990 for once in Malaysian parliament. They all, the members of parliament agreed wholeheartedly with the issuance because they believe in the abuse of power by the Malaysian royals to begin with, right? So we think that regardless of all those things, we think there are some good things that you should also regard that Mahathir has done for the community, right? Especially with his new image where he seems to be more progressive principles that you want to fight. So we need to find a common ground for these individuals who want to stay touch the Malaysian opposition, right? So we think that opposition cannot win alone. We think that we need to use the face of Mahathir to spearhead the change. Chinese, Indians, Kazans, and other races and other ethnicities as well. So especially when the Malaysia has been consistent of more majority Malays, right? Like that, Mahathir, who has been like a strong standing among the Malays, it would appear to be more convincing and persuasive for these Malays to want to change their sides, right? So we think that if racial sentiment doesn't work according to them, and oppositions can trust alone on their principles, then how would Barisan Nasional or UMNO be able to be in power for so long if they did not play the racial sentiments in the first place? But before that, yes,
You agree that the value of Mahathir is that he can appeal to the most conservative Malay voters in the country. On a comparative, how does the opposition appeal to young, urban, moderate voters who don't believe in racial division anymore?
okay, but here's the thing, right? We need to try to reach common ground between these Malay conservatives and also the young urbanites who may understand the relevance of the principles, the liberal principles that the opposition parties want to propose. But at the same time, in order for you to win and bring change within the political framework, you also need to bring Mahathir. Let me explain to you the importance of the influence that he has to begin with, right? Let's begin with the composition of voters that we have within Malaysia, right? Because it did not really explain how this would affect these people. But you have people like Malay conservatives, Malay liberals who support UMNO because of their legacy and because of their ancestors have been voting for UMNO for so long. We think that doubts and uncertainties when it comes to wanting to take the leap of faith going to the opposition parties because they have uncertainties about the welfare, their rights, and the constitution, right? So the value of Mahathir seeing someone who used to be like them in the same UMNO party when Mahathir has changed and switched side to the opposition party. So it might trigger certain thoughts within the Malay refused to change in the first place. Why exactly this old man wants to change to begin with? Except that there has been like some sort of like extreme damages that have been done by the current government, right? So it will ease out the feeling of insecurity, thus bring attraction and attention from the Malay conservatives wanting to open up to the new policies and principles that the opposition parties want to promote, right? The kind man. So first, so next, how will this? So what kind of influence does Mahathir have towards the people, right? Firstly, he's known as the father of modernization in Malaysia. He triggered the building of the LCC Tower, the national tower, which is the national landmark in Malaysia. He saved the nation from the Asian financial crisis in the late 1990s, which allowed Malaysia to escape from the big debt that still plaguing nations like the Philippines. He is a local filmmaker in which a lot of people can actually relate due to his hardships that he has gone through since his childhood, because he was not from a very well-off background to begin with, right? So due to his influence, we think that there is something that the opposition party can make use of, right? So when we see about having Mahathir in the opposition party, does not mean that we want to condone to the previous rhetorics that UMNO has been going on over and over again, right? So if you are worried about Mahathir trying to influence and just make another new UMNO party in the opposition party, we think that what will happen is that it will not, check and balance will still exist under our paradigm. Like look at the opposition parties that we have, like PKR, Bersatu, DAP. So how we want to use Mahathir as a face that unite them all. So we think that this unity and 1% is also important in order for you to appear persuasive and convincing towards the large majority of Malaysians, right? Even though so if like there are some sort of biases that exist within the policies that Mahathir thinks or opinions that he has, it does not mean that you have to condone everything that he wants to believe in, right? So because of the different grassroots that all these different political parties have, we think that it is also a form of fight to propose to these individuals, and we think that only then we will be able to reform the current government that we are currently in and save Malaysia from further corruptions by the current government officials. Okay. TPM.
If you look at the position of opposition and this justification that we need to be strategic in how we manage voters in Malaysia, we will posit from government that strategy was the argument that was used by Britain when they decided to divide races along economic capacity. That strategy was used by Mahathir in removing federal court judges and removing royal powers as a means to centralize the Prime Minister's power in the hand of one individual. Strategy is what he is currently utilizing as a means of like an initial wave of writing an anti-Najib, the dude who like took money from the country, to creating a facade of a brand new world that's still reliant upon archaic concept of racial division. And the problem with Mahathir specifically, of personality surrounding Mahathir, is one that overwhelmingly turns away individuals who still remember, acknowledges, suffers, and privileges of his legacy as an individual who thrived on those racial privileges. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be talking about three things. One, why do we think the opposition is unsustainable and engaged in this particular policy? Secondly, the concept of Mahathirism and why we don't want the resurgence of an era of Mahathirism, and thirdly, about the influence of Mahathir, right? And all my response will be integrated. I think what I will see here at the start, and just to get it out of the way, I appreciate the economic development that Mahathir engaged in, having KLCC and removing us out of that and all of that. But the thing is that being fiscally responsible for a country doesn't allow you the justification to be socially illiberal to the point where you were able to limit the rights of individuals who were of other races that were non-Malay.
Yeah.
In the 80s, Mahathir was very popular to say that the Malay community should never bow down to the Chinese community because they were able to privilege of the British, ladies and gentlemen. And this sentiment continues, right? Because the presumption that racism as a concept, as an ideology, is that he believes that the Malay race and the Malay community should be the ultimate and all be all dominant community in that country. So even if we make some statements to placate people right now, I will posit that the elements still remain. And even if it's reform, the perception of the Malaysian community to this one individual remains the same. And if you're going to be strategic, what is strategic is to maintain a perception where people can feel like the opposition is one community that we can finally trust. Why is the current opposition unsustainable? Because based on the advice from Mahathir, the Bersatu Party, as you know, is led by our very own Syed Saddiq, has decided to engage in a platform and a policy that still appeases the Aborigines and the Bumi Putra community by saying that the first level of membership and inculcation should be ours. And they have also had problematic statements, like the female leader of the Parti Keadilan, the PKR party, saying that I am just a leader in face, my husband who's in jail is more correct, more apt, more able to be a leader because he's the man, right? Because the Constitution of Malaysia says that only a man can be a prime minister. The problem with associating yourself with such an individual is that whilst you can try and correct and balance those perceptions by trying to engage the Chinese DAP party or the Indian party, Indian members of PKR, for example, is that the overwhelming presence and the overwhelming historical fact that this individual was oppressive in nature is going to overwhelm any other effort that the opposition party can try to engage. Mahathir yesterday made a statement saying that students and young leaders should be the one taking the initiative to be better, to spearhead change in this country. But like the fact that he instituted a policy that says university students can never speak out or associate with political affiliation, the fact that I'm saying all these things means that I'm still at risk of expulsion because of the policy that Mahathir says. So shoving off responsibility onto a group of community that he chose to oppress in the past is in a strategic position for them to take. But secondly, I would argue that the era of Mahathirism Malaysia is still on a country's history and often obfuscated by the fact that it was economically developed. Fatana spent a long time talking about KLCC and wonderful. But I think that we often cannot forget the things that he did in the past. The fact that he impeached federal court judges that were supposed to be on the bench for life because he dared challenge his position as Prime Minister. The fact that they removed the powers of royal rulers based on an incident where they killed someone but doesn't allow for the royals to be able to challenge current structures of government because the royal rulers at this they're like symbolic in nature, right? But the fact that the geopolitical opposition, his very own deputy prime work with individuals who are from different races. I go to a university that tells people that you cannot enter this university and get subsidy just because you're a different race. I watch my friends struggle to get an education. I watch people struggle to be able to find meaningful political opinion. And all this comes from Mahathir, ladies and gentlemen. Lastly, right, this idea that Mahathir is so influential and can win conservative voters. I'm going to say one thing here. I don't think Mahathir is all that influential. And I'm going to make this argument carefully. When it comes to Mahathir as an individual, if it is so true as Fatana says, is so powerful and can rally the conservative Malays, why is it that at the point where Mahathir chose to associate himself or support or go against the Prime Minister that allegedly stole money from the government, he was expelled and removed from the United Malays National? The strongest, oldest, most conservative of individuals in that party chose to remove and terminate his membership because they don't see him as an ally anymore. And I think that at a point where you want to try and get a mediation between the government and the opposition, having this individual that becomes a stumbling block makes it far more difficult for us, right? Especially when Malaysia is in a unique position right now. You start seeing the growth of urban, young, moderate voters that are not only Malays but Chinese and Indians as well as the Aboriginal community coming forward and saying they're excited for the next general election because they're finally 21, they can finally vote for this. And I think that in a world where you allow for this person that chose to persecute their parents, their grandparents, it is unlikely that you're going to want to have the support of this party. That's what Khairi Jamaluddin, who is popular in status quo, understands that like he can't be absolutely liberal because he needs to manage how people feel about him in society. The compass applies to non-conservative, moderate individuals as well. And I think that the association taints the opposition to the extent where it is unlikely that you're going to be able to split the votes anyway. Because all of his positions, Mahathir, right, still relies on the premise that he created the world that allowed for that racial division to begin with. So that means that even your most conservative voters are unlikely going to go into that position because this is the person that I grew up with that says my race, my community supersedes every other community in status quo. So good luck trying to get the urban and the rural voters to try to support Mahathir to the extent in which he knows is one individual and has many other people. But the comparative is the harm that he expended onto this country was monumental and cannot.
Thank you. Second speaker from the opposition, please. Okay, yeah.
Mahathir, in retrospect, was a nationalist. He was also but he also did some great things in the past. My job here isn't to convince you that in the future he would be more conservative. I think that at a certain extent it's quite uncertain what he will do. But I think government is forgetting something. Government is forgetting the struggles that we are facing now. That I'm unable to get a scholarship because I'm not Malay. We do so many other things because of racist policies. These are policies that although Mahathir was also a part of, has been also part of other and former prime ministers within Barisan Nasional. Who do we point the finger to then? Unless I'm well read, I point a finger to Barisan Nasional. That I'm angry at the current government who is disrupting my ability to find a good education or a good job. That reason being the portrait was Mahathir's fault, but it's rather Barisan Nasional's fault. And it's a current prime minister's fault. You cannot say that in retrospect all the faults that we blame to is only Mahathir's fault. And if you say that all those harms that Mahathir did was extremely harmful, there are a lot of things that Najib did was also harmful as well. The economy much more dealing. He started signing deals with China, in which he said in the beginning of his election he was not going to do so. I'm saying that there are a lot of things that we want, as much as we want to impeach him, we can't, and we are struggling with the current prime minister right now. Take a seat. We agree Mahathir was bad, but the current prime minister is also bad. So in my speech, I want to talk about the comparative. Who do we prefer? Mahathir will be better and won't damage Malaysia. So first, the opposition will alone, because they say that they're going to focus on one particular party in the opposition in which they will bring them glory and bring them victory. Take a seat. I don't think they can do that. I think the opposition can't necessarily work unilaterally. The reason why it can't work unilaterally is because there are a lot of opposition parties existing in this status quo today. those opposition parties have deep grassroots and they have their own cult, which means it's very hard for them to get a collective voter base in which I see them as an opposition, but not as DAP, not as Bersatu, and not as PKR. That splits the vote that you get from opposition, take a seat. But in order to win more seats in parliament, I think you need one opposition in which I think if I see PKR, I see Bersatu, I think it's opposition. If I see in this instance, I think it's extremely harmful. Parties such as DAP, which is not the strongest right now, unfortunately still has a very large Chinese voter base. I think it's extremely hard for you to get the votes of these individuals if you don't have a particular face. I'll explain later on why Mahathir, even if it's UMNO, it's conservativeness, can still get votes of Chinese individuals, but then that's something that they don't achieve in the first place. So what is Mahathir's advantage? 4 things. The first thing I talk about is the current Prime Minister's stance in retrospect, like Mahathir's stance in retrospect might be bad and he made some bad decisions. But what Prime Minister said was that Mahathir is currently progressing. He's still thin, but his image still thin certain parts of opposition. What does this mean? It means that the reason why Syed Saddiq is becoming so popular and Bersatu is becoming so big is because of Mahathir's progressiveness. Why you sure right now Mahathir to be the face of all opposition parties? But if he's not the face of all opposition parties, he will still be the face of Bersatu, which is now the currently most strongest opposition party, in which I think the reason why he's is gaining so much popularity because of his willingness to become progressive. You might gain some votes, you might lose some people in rural areas, or people who feel the struggle from these individuals. Here's the comparative. What do people fear more? Do people fear Mahathir more, or do people fear the current outcomes and the current struggles they face more? I think more individuals react to this for the outcomes and damages they face now, the harms they face now, rather than things that Mahathir did in retrospect. So I think these are individuals who are more likely to vote for Mahathir anyway, and I don't see why Mahathir isn't going to earn the votes of other people. Parties. The second thing is about rural Malay individuals. The reason why the rural Malay individuals Mahathir can have an influence over these individuals is because of his past presidency in which he helped these individuals. Because that amount of rhetoric is Mahathir, and I think this side doesn't allow them. The third thing I'll talk about is how Mahathir has the ability to cut through PC culture. I think in the circumstance in which you want to get votes of Chinese individuals and Indian individuals now as well, you will also have to talk about Malay things, you talk about Islamic issues, in which you can't do so if you don't have Mahathir. Mahathir is one that is Malay, past Prime Minister, have been focused and have responsibility over Islamic issues in the past as well. As part of this, I think that he has the ability to cut through all this bureaucracy, all this political culture, sentiments, and be less scrutinized. I think that's why he has at most advantage in this instance. I'll take UI.
I'm confused. So you see he's so overwhelmingly influential to the extent that he can reach rural conservative Malay voters, but the position where he takes on certain different issues is less influential because it's just mere statements of fact and not really actual political leverage.
No, the thing I'm trying to point out is the difference between rural Malays and liberals is that rural Malays are less informed in current situation. They're always being influenced by BN. They look up to Barisan Nasional as a government. And Mahathir was part of Barisan Nasional, that's why I think he can win the votes of them. I think also the reason why moderate voters are more likely to be inclined to Mahathir is because he's progressive, he's becoming more liberal than not. I think it's extremely important. What is my argument? I'll talk about why Mahathir is someone that Barisan Nasional cannot defeat. So yeah, 6 minutes, sorry. So Barisan Nasional has been amping up its legal squadron to ensure that its enemies are kept at bay. That past opposition leaders will be sent to jail, clamped down, and put to courts. People like Anwar Ibrahim was framed for sodomy and put in jail. The people in Barisan Nasional, Rafizi Ramli, who was part of the current government, but he made some controversial statements about Najib and the current Prime Minister, and he was sent to jail and he was in detention. Why isn't Najib or the current government doing anything to Mahathir right now? Because they are afraid. They are afraid of a backlash because he has some sort of influence still. I think that sort of influence is important. Here's the conclusion that I will make. Even though we win this election and we win it based on a Malay voter base, it is still okay. The reason why it is still okay because we have to gain that one step first. Because we will never be able to beat the Barisan Nasional if we don't won't earn the trust of the majority of those voters. So even if it's extremely conservative, even if Mahathir wins and it's becoming extremely Malay-centric, we're fine with that. We're one step closer to making things more liberal, one step closer from removing Barisan Nasional in power. They've been reigning for a lot of years, for 50 over years, and we want to see a change. That change starts to happen.
Thank you. Governor, please. Go.
Mahathir is the figurehead and the monument, the testament to racism that still exists in our country today. Before moving on to the two issues that define today's debate, like that don't fit in from the side of opposition. First, clarification. Isn't that Mahathir is the only person that has done bad things in the country. Our country has been screwed up for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think Mahathir was a large contributor to the horrible things that have happened, and one less evil person being able to dominate our country's politics is one less evil in power, and that is an important good at the very least. So the mere fact that he contributed to it is reason enough for us to not want him to be anywhere close to being able to influence our country. But notice that their case is premised upon them winning more votes without ever telling us why they would necessarily win more votes. The dichotomy in this debate cannot be Najib against Mahathir. The dichotomy in this debate should be Najib against a better opposition, and necessarily what is the better opposition. You cannot necessarily assume that this debate is Najib versus Mahathir without ever telling us why Mahathir is more important or more likely to win support in this debate. Two issues, right? Number one, where are you likely to get more votes? Secondly, even if Mahathir wins, why is this horrible? Firstly, more votes. I swear, there was the biggest contradiction of all time from the side of opposition. So, Mahathir is so influential that Malay conservatives that get cash handouts, get electricity from BN will suddenly turn because of one word Mahathir says, but every single Indian in Malaysia will forget about the horrible atrocities he has committed because he's not influential enough for us to forget about him. I really don't get that, right? You cannot have your cake and eat it too. If it's true that he's influential enough to impact people at that level, then Indian people are still going to remember what he did. Chinese people are still going to remember the statements that impacted their ability to live their life until today. Secondly, their biggest contention with regards to getting more votes is we have less division in their work. Really doesn't make sense. Because Mahathir only supports one party, which is Bersatu. So I don't know how you can unify an opposition coalition under someone that supports one party. Just logically, it doesn't make sense, and they never told us why it happened. But secondly, this is really funny. DAP, a Chinese-centric party, which opposition considered Mahathir was racist, will back Mahathir, will support him till the death, even after he said Malays are more superior than Chinese people. We should always bow down. Here's something. So I really think it doesn't make sense, right? I don't necessarily see why a party of Chinese people that are so premised upon their identity would necessarily forego it for some random patriotism that Mahathir hasn't proven in the past, in fact never, right? Secondly, so there are two kinds of people that need to win for more votes, right? One is Bumi-Putras, and secondly the non-Bumis. So I will say this, I don't think it is possible for us to win the most conservative if only claim to them is words. While BN gives them cash handouts, electricity, goes to their villages almost every single week to target the votes, even when it's 1 year away from the election. It's so hard to win with people, and even if you win them, you win a small minority of them because you don't have the power to influence them. So who are the Bumis that we can impact? The ones that want to change, the ones that reluctantly vote for UMNO because there is no clear alternative and no one else is pandering to them. So notice the current opposition, DAP panders mainly to Chinese people, PCR panders mainly to Indian people. There is no party that from the opposition that panders a lot to Bumi-Putra. That is to say that the only way we win some Bumi-Putra votes is by being more different from UMNO in the way we pander to Bumis. Because Mahathir's claim to those individuals is the same as UMNO's, but he cannot exact the same influence as UMNO. So you cannot out UMNO, right? The only thing we can do is be as different as possible in order to garner votes from Bumi Putras that reluctantly vote for UMNO because there is no alternative. Thirdly, their biggest claim in influencing people is Mahathir changed from UMNO to the opposition, so conservatives will change. So this doesn't make sense just because I don't get it lah. But what's my biggest problem with this? That guy, Mahathir, was expelled from UMNO. Before this, he was backing our ex-vice president, Mr. Muhyiddin, who is now currently part of Bersatu. So he didn't want to get kicked out of UMNO, guys. Why is it important? Because then your impact of a change isn't there, because he didn't voluntarily change from UMNO to the opposition. He got kicked out of UMNO, so because of embarrassment, he had to go to the opposition. So I think that impact there is really mitigated. What's the conclusion today? The only Bumi Putras we can win are the ones that want a change, and you negate that change when you bring back Mahathir, an era of UMNO, and you can never out UMNO. So you always use that comparative. Secondly, non-Bumi Putras, right? Wow. So notice that their claim to getting Chinese people or Indian people means that they have to forego their identity and everything that's happened. Without ever telling us why necessarily Mahathir suddenly changing a little now will make someone forego their identity that they have lived out throughout their entire life. Considering that Mahathir has made horrible statements and profited off their parents' suffering. I think the comparative is us more able to gain this support when we haven't made explicitly horrible comments about them. I think that's just a higher likelihood. Before I move on,
Why are you saying that Mahathir is trying to out UMNO me by becoming more UMNO? If PM already said that Mahathir is becoming more progressive, I don't see why there is not an opposition stance.
No, so what I mean by that is UMNO's claim to Bumi Putras is similar to UMNO because that's where he got his fame from. But secondly, if he's becoming more progressive, then all the support you wanted from conservative Malay is not happening. So I really don't know what the strong contradiction in POIs are. But secondly, even if Mahathir wins, why is it a horrible thing, right? Notice that when you vote for the opposition, even though he's the de facto leader, then if you vote for policies that Mahathir wants, right? That is to say, in some way you're beholden to him. So even if Syed Saddiq becomes the Prime Minister of Malaysia, he's beholden to some of the rhetoric that Mahathir used because Mahathir was the reason a lot of people voted for him. Even if you get more support, it's horrible. Why? A, he undermines democracy, right? So in general, he just supersedes everything else. The racial division, everything. He undermines the very essence of our country when he fired Saleh Abbas, a Supreme Court judge of ours, because he was for Malaysians to speak out, and I think that's way worse in your world for every Malaysian, whether it's Malay, Chinese, or Indian. Secondly, notice that he's so similar to UMNO, and he likes UMNO, but he doesn't like the current representative of UMNO. That means before Najib came into power, he actually supported UMNO. That's why before going to the opposition, he backed individuals in UMNO. Why is this important? This proves that he hasn't actually changed in general. He still wants UMNO as a party to win, but he no longer wants Najib to represent UMNO, which is really helpful because that means even if you win, all the policies enacted will be similar but just in a different way from the way Najib did it. So even if you win your best outcome, we are no closer to achieving equality. You have made it worse.
Thank you. Open, please. Thank you.
I rarely read Asian news, but even I know that if Mahathir is such an influential person, the things that come out in news are things saying that he's very controversial. He joined opposition parties, all these things indicate that there's something going on. We think it's not easy for you to push away his influence and all the bad things that he's done in the past and take that as a form of legitimacy for him not to be the leader of current opposition. Three things. First, I'm going to deal with the first question. How is Mahathir viewed by society? Secondly, what will happen to opposition parties? And finally, I'm going to deal with the end goal of both sides. Let's go to the first question. How is Mahathir viewed by society? The first thing that came from Prime Minister was that he argued that he's very discriminatory. All the things that he's done in the past will result in him taking the image of opposition parties as well. Some opposition concedes from the get-go that his image is really bad. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we should not lead a party that goes against the government in the first place. Given that both my speakers substantiated their speeches with examples of other politicians who also think that and who also had bad reputation. Unlike Ryan, who had several sex scandals, all these things are things that happened at the moment. But then they were legitimate leaders and very influential leaders of these parties to begin with. So we don't see why you having a bad reputation will result to you not being a legitimate leader of a certain party. If your standpoint or your viewpoint in fighting for the policy is similar, then we would still have you to begin with. No, thank you. The second thing that he told us was about influence. Let's deal with influence. Some opposition would not want to trade off the massive influence that Tun Mahathir holds. Given that he has done lots of good things and bad things in the past, we think we should put that influence at a very strategic point if he wants to fight for opposition parties. Side of government conceded that Bersatu is one of the most biggest party or the biggest opposition party now. We don't see why they should put or take away a very important asset to the development of that opposition party. Even if you don't want to unify other opposition parties like PKR or DAP, if it still means that you want to defend Bersatu, then you must have a very strong leader to begin with, which has that influence that pushes individuals to fight for the same cause. Have you seen? The third thing that they consistently argued was the problem of race. They argued how Mahathir came out with all the policies that divide our races until today. Some opposition is not going to contest and say that Mahathir hasn't done these bad things, but the concept in which he shifted his position from being someone who is pro-government and taking a stance to fight for the opposition is something that we must acknowledge. Given that when he changed his stance and he opted for Bersatu, regardless if it's out of embarrassment or out of him being thrown out involuntarily, we think it's still important for us to note that he's still fighting for the opposition. Him being there, parties like Bersatu and PKR and DAP more leverage over other parties because now someone very influential, an ex-prime minister, has come to join our side. We also think this sheds light upon the issue, given that people are going to be more engaged with this issue, that people feel like Mahathir is such an important asset that he joined the opposition and there's something going on. Then hard question, how is he going to unify these parties because he already disenfranchised the Chinese and the minorities to begin with. We tell Wu that because he's the de facto leader, regardless of what he's done in the past, if he's fighting for the same goal, which is to overthrow the end or to reform the government to be a better one, then we think it still needs to change. The fact that Chinese has already been disenfranchised in the past should not be a reason for us to opt out Mahathir or take him away from that political power that he has. Given that if his change is going to be a change that leads to other parties also receiving the certain benefit that
you also concede on a net, he loses more supporters than he gains because of that.
We think when Mahathir already has some form of influence over individuals from rural areas, that is why his votes strengthen. When he joins opposition parties, only then will people feel engaged to know what they want to do about. I'll explain more in my second question, which I will get into now. What will happen to opposition parties? The first thing that we focused was that other politicians are going to be overlooked. Politicians aren't going to be the main face of this fight. Notice that a lot of Malaysians or conservative Malaysians don't want to engage in what opposition is wanting to fight for because all these things are seen as forms of rebellion or things that are going against the government. A conservative Malaysian would never want to care about these things because he continuously feels that BN is the perfect party for him to support. Unfortunately, it is also unfair for you to say that opposition can't engage with these sorts of discussions. Here's where Mahathir comes in. As a person who can relate to rural Muslims, because he used to be a person who has made Malaysia modern in the time before, here is where he becomes the person who brings conservative Malaysians into discussing what opposition is going to fight for. Only will this circumstance push opposition to get more voters the moment people are more engaged and more interested to know about what's happening on the ground. Because Mahathir is there. Even if his influence is bad, if people take into account what he did in the past and it results to people knowing what he's going to fight for now, then there is something that we're also going to take. Have you seen? The second question is it a collective fight or is it a lone fight? They wanted to argue that Bersatu was the biggest party possible, and we still want to maintain it that way. We don't want to change their image, and therefore we should opt out of that. Right? We think in the fight we agree that in Malaysia there are many opposition parties that fight for many reasons. For example, DAP is more towards Chinese-centric, and it tends to get Chinese voters. But when fighting or reforming a government, if you want to fight and go against BN, we think it's time for you to unify like the opposition in order to fight under one face. And that is not elected within DAP or PKR or other minority parties, but the face that is recognized by the majority of individuals. Here's where more people are going to realize that opposition is not only Chinese-centric or Indian-centric, but the Mahathir could be the face to unify every single one of them. The final question, they argue that the current government already exists, and we think it's horrible for us to overthrow the government. Note now that all the harms of individuals being portrayed as bad politicians, Mahathir, Tun Abdul Razak, all these are individuals who start racism in the past. The harms are all in my tradition, and that is where I would not believe to step down.
Yeah. Top reply.
In my reply, I'm going to do one thing. I want to tell you at the end who will win more support and which will benefit opposition more. But before that, a clarification. They can't say that we are contradicting by saying that the DAP, which is a Chinese-centric party, will never vote for Mahathir because it's extremely Malay-centric or influential, like what Han said previously, because the motion assumes that Mahathir is the de facto opposition leader of all opposition parties, that he is the opposition which we want to get rid of, opposition leader. So he's probably the leader of all the other parties as well. Also in current news, DAP has been acknowledging Mahathir as de facto leader, so I don't see why it's a contradicting statement by us. So the burden, who will win more support? I think this debate has become about who has a lot more influence. Because the advantages of Mahathir, which I listed down before, shouldn't be ignored by their side. Because I'm very curious as to who is their new leader, or who is their new, or what is their new opposition stance, especially since there's so many split opposition stance and there's no one particular face of collective stance. I talk about Mahathir being the advantage of someone that is already influential and someone that people already know, and he's an influential leader that can unite that face, make it more symbolistic. Second, I talk about Mahathir being the ability to cut through PC culture, the ability to not be scrutinized as much as a new leader, a Chinese leader, an Indian leader. I'm not sure about that. The third, I talked about how Barisan National has a tough time through bars of trying to put him through jail, because I'm quite sure that the new opposition leader will face the same fate, and it will probably be in detention not too long from now. Mahathir is the only one that can do such a thing. Here's the comparative that I would make. Because the comparative is not about, therefore, because I have bad reputation, therefore I will lose more voters. It doesn't work that way. It's because maybe you can't win out all the conservative, but it's because that current people right now are angrier at the current government more than they are angrier at what Mahathir did in retrospect. Yeah. I think people are struggling more to understand that BN was the one that caused them so much of harm, that they're struggling right now and they're unable to move on from that. And Mahathir might be contributing to that. But who did they vote for now? If I was a Chinese individual and I was between Mahathir and BN, I'm more likely to vote for Mahathir. I'm more likely to want to see a change. Because if the choice of BN, if the choice of Mahathir is bad, the latter is even worse. And Barisan National has been reigning for a long time. I think that's a problem that they have not yet to understand. That because Mahathir did so much bad things, does not mean you probably lose more voters. I think that's a point in which I feel to understand. So the contention is between Malay individuals. Will Mahathir push out more Malay individuals, or only bring in more? Back in 2015, I was still coached by Syed Sadiq and he left. What he told me was, he said that the reason why Bersatu had become Malay-centric was because they need to fight against Barisan National. They need to create a platform in which people can trust the new opposition party. And I think that your new opposition party really trust. People don't who is influential he might be, because people access or talk and engage with this new leader. I think that in that instance, they feel now your votes are less collective. In conclusion, what we made in today's debate is not trying to promote how good Mahathir is. He is bad, but he's the only choice we got in order to gain more Malay voters. We will assume that Chinese and Indian voters will probably vote for us if Mahathir is the new face, the new leader. But in this instance, in the instance of getting more Malay voters, you can't do that on your side without Mahathir's help.
Proposition reply.
Yeah.
Having Mahathir as a face of a racially united new Malaysia is akin to having Hitler as a face of anti-Semitism. That's not to say that we don't acknowledge the kind of repentance that he makes, but it doesn't discount the amount of harm that he contributed, calculated to the extent that allows the current exploitation of the government, right? And I'm going to say an unspoken but quite popular sentiment that exists in this country, is that Bersatu is unlikely to win the next general election. And the reason is because they are unable to collect the support from other non-conservative Malay voters by virtue of them having their association tainted with Mahathir being the overwhelming face of this person. Do we really need him? We don't. And I don't understand why this influence that seems to be selectively influential in some parts and not really other has no specific outcome, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to say here that there was a whole host of new analysis in reply. I'm going to point out a specific few that were important, and I'm going to tell you why that's irrelevant. I'm just going to make it easy for you, Chanel. There are three groups of individuals that we need to deal with. The first is the Malay and Bumi voters, the conservative ones, and why they lose them. The moderate and urbanites, why they lose them, and why they lose every other race as well. So I think that when it comes to looking at the most conservative Malay voters in this country, that even the opposition group conceded in his speech that it's unlikely that we're going to be able to captivate their support anyway, given that they have such stronghold by the majority party. Hans pointed out that the capacity to give tax handouts, money, and far away the narratives of Mahathir. The fact that he was expelled from that party received no response from opposition other than say, well, he's Malay and well, we have other bad leaders anyway. But when it comes to moderate individuals, right, you are going to lose them as well. At the point where you say that a racial identity that supersedes any other element as a voter should be the priority that you make. Because note that Bersatu wasn't racist in its nature before the introduction of Mahathir as an advisory in that party, right? He says it is just better for us. This is a person who is a political opportunist who wanted to ride the wave of the anti-Najib sentiment and saw a burgeoning political party that can maybe perhaps get him more support, ladies and gentlemen. There are a large group of individuals who are ambivalent about the idea of voting in this country. Because note that whilst they may prove that there's some degree of influence, they don't tell you how that influence translates to actual outcome. The new thing in reply is this standard of we must assess it now, not the before. But if your standard is Mahathir was important and influential before, then where do we place his contribution vis-a-vis his contribution in creating racial divisions to begin with? But secondly, this idea that people don't want to trust Bersatu, this new analysis in reply, that people don't want to trust Bersatu without Mahathir. The problem is, the kind of people that you get to trust Bersatu are apparently the Malay conservatives that you concede in your own way are unlikely to change anyway. So what happens today? Non-Malay, non-Bumi, urbanite, moderate voters who want to vote for you. These are people who in the last general election, they ran an online voting poll to see what is going to happen in a world where the people who turned 21 in the new general election, where will they vote? They voted for the opposition, and they didn't need to be persuaded to vote for the opposition. But what you do now is you turn them away from a potentially viable opposition that tells them there are remnants of Mahathirism that we need to support. There are remnants of an archaic structure because this is the only way for us to get into power. You are beholden to his particular position. You are beholden to his capacity to dictate behaviors, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's the problem. So on face, they lose all three groups of voters without them being able to tell us why this influence of Mahathir actually translates into actual outcomes. I'm 24 years old now. And I didn't vote in the last general election, and I think it is unlikely that I'm going to vote in this upcoming general election. I do behind supporting an opposition party that is okay in acquiescing to certain policies that are like contradictory to democracy, contradictory to human rights, and contradictory to the creation of the Malaysian identity. And that's a future in which you punish Malaysian communities too. At the point where you say Mahathir is the only way in which we can move forward. I'm very proud.
Yes,